younger guys go from one grade to another. Parents can have hard times with transitions. We have transitions in life all the time. Okay, different kinds of transitions. Okay, walking into the dojang off the street to start class is a transition. Okay, in the middle of your class, you might transition from one activity to another activity. Okay, transitions are all through everything we do. Okay, but be aware of them and be aware of how you can make good transitions or poor transitions. Okay, but be aware of that. If you're an instructor, you need to be aware, but even for your own self. It helps you to understand. Okay, hey, maybe that's why I'm feeling all off, because I just went from this to this, or this changed, or that changed, or whatever. Be aware of these transitions. Okay, so the rest of the notes you guys can read a little bit. Learning new, talking about burning neural pathways, learning from scratch. Okay, there's some really neat things to do with practice. Okay, if you're teaching a new student, at the bottom of this third page, you're teaching a new student, guys. A brand new student that doesn't know anything, or their techniques are really poor, you don't want them doing those techniques over and over 100 times every day. Right? So you would never have a new student that doesn't have a clue how to do a front kick and send them home and tell them to do 100 front kicks every day, because they're just going to do 100 wrong front kicks. Right? So heavy repetition when you're first learning something is not really a good thing. Okay? He talks about that here. Talks about practicing in threes. So when you're practicing your poomsae or something like that, do things in threes, then stop, take a break, or go away, or wait till the next day. Then do another set of three. So, because typically when you go more than three, you're kind of petering out, losing interest, or you're losing energy, or you're losing focus. Okay? So do things in groups of three. And obviously, you all know, ideally you practice the same way you're going to compete. Okay? You don't practice lazy and then expect you're going to compete at a higher level. We'll talk about this teaching strategies just at another session, guys, but read it over. Teaching strategies over compensation is a really key, good way of teaching. Okay, I think I mentioned to Mr. Bain, some of you guys in Maryland, a little bit on overcompensation. Remember we talked about the face chop? And how a proper face chop from here is fingertips about the same height as your head. Here, nice circles, full circles, both arms, and about the height of your head right across your face. Okay? But when you're teaching a student, most students, their face chop looks like this, right? So the way you correct that is it's called overcompensation. So you teach them, you want them to go to here, so you have them go past there and practice that way, and then when they pull back, they're going to pull back right where you want them. Okay? It's called overcompensation because all of us resist. Remember I talked earlier about resisting change? We resist change. So when you tell somebody to go from here to here, they're fighting you. They're fighting you. Their body's fighting. Their mind is fighting. I want you to go to here. Oh, okay, I'll go to there. They're not going where you want them to go. Okay? Applies to baseball players. Applies to all kinds of sports. Okay? So when you're teaching something, don't be afraid to teach the student overcompensation to get them where you want them to be. Yes, sir?
After we discussed, I tried it with the black stripes, and I wanted them all to side kick at least to put over their head, because they were all kicking maybe belt or shoulder level. Yeah. And next thing you know, almost every single one of them had side kicks that were face height at least. So I got what I wanted.
Perfect. Yeah.
Out of them.
Perfect example. Okay. If you want somebody to kick to their waist, tell them to kick to their head, and then they'll end up maybe at their waist, right? I'm sure I've done that to all of you guys at one time or another. Okay. Same goes for power and other things. Okay. Slow motion is really valuable. Slow motion. Why is slow motion valuable? It's easier to see mistakes. Okay.
Well, plus also too, when you do slow motion with a technique, it helps create that mind, the muscle memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Beginning and end positions we're talking about in a side kick. Okay. If we start in the right position, we check how we start, we check how we finish. if you make those parts right, the beginning and end, the middle tends to work itself out way better too, okay? Beginning and end positions. Again, breaking something down, picking it apart, breaking it down is important. Disassemble the technique, we talked about that. Imitation, asked you guys right at the beginning, what are we? I think Hayden said role models. Okay. I don't do that enough. I need to do that a bit more. I'm going to try and do that more with you black belts. Students need somebody to model after. Okay. You can't walk into class and teach class and you're dragging your butt into class. Or you can't perform poomsae for the student with some power. Right? They're going to copy you. Right? Grandmaster's gotten after me every year for the last 13 years. When I send in videos of you guys, and he's looking at all the mistakes, all the errors on those videos, he's looking at me. Right? All your crappy sidekicks are from my crappy sidekick. Right? Generally, not all the time, but generally that's the rule. Okay? When he critiqued me a couple of years ago when I went down to Florida, all the same things I was doing, he's seeing on your videos. Exactly. And actually, at one point he made a comment, it was a major revelation for him because he was able to tie that together. That he'd never really done that before, so it's pretty cool. So that's it. We basically touched on those things, so we'll talk about it some more. Whoa! Everybody got a copy of this, too? It's another extremely, when you're preparing a class, instructors, I'm going to be spending more time this year giving you guys feedback and evaluating how you teach and how you can be a better instructor. When you're coming in to teach a class, you need to use this FCP principle from Senior Grandmaster. Okay, fun, challenging, and productive. Okay? That's what kind of class you should deliver to your students. If you can do that all the time, you're going to have excited students and they're going to be excited to come back to the next class. Okay? It's not rocket science to teach a good class, but it's not easy either, right? It takes a lot of experience, it takes a lot of learning, but you guys can come in, even you guys that don't teach all the time, whether it's Emma Allison or Hannah, any of you guys, you're not teaching on a regular basis. But if you're asked to come in and teach a class, just come in before you come in. Understand, okay, what do I need to do here? Okay? Fun, challenging, and productive. Okay, so I want to have a fun part of class is fun, part of it's productive, part of it's challenging. Okay? They learn something, I challenge them with something, the students go away happy. Okay, guys? So appreciate it, appreciate your time, and we'll refresh this stuff through the year. But otherwise,
It's really squeaky.
I'm excited about this year for the school, guys. We're in an excellent place. I've never seen the last year or two with so much great feedback we're getting from parents and students. It's more and more. It's not about more numbers in the school, although the numbers are going up. The better job we do, the more numbers are going to go up, obviously. But it's the feedback. The quality of the feedback I'm getting from people is what has me the most excited, and that means all you guys are doing a good job, okay? So keep that up too, okay? Thanks, guys. See you later. See you next week.